There are many gyms in MMA, and that has always led to a discussion and argument over what is the best gym in MMA. So I thought today I'd make a tier list video and we can get to the bottom of this right now within this video and find out once and for all what is the best gym in MMA. As you can see, the S tier ranking only has enough room for one gym, so a winner will be crowned by the end of this video, and you can see where the other gyms rank in comparison to it. I need to mention before I get into this as well, I have all of the gyms around the perimeter of the screen. You should be able to see some of them poking out. I'm going to drag them where they belong on this tier list, S through D. I need to mention this though. I have not included every single gym in MMA. So if you personally like a certain gym that your fighter that you like trains out of, and it's not on here, I can only apologise. There's only so much room on my screen. I've tried to include all of the ones I feel like need to be part of the discussion. Let's go through them straight away and get dragging into position where they belong. I'm going to start with Nova União. I am not, and this is a perfect one to start with, I'm putting it at C tier, in all honesty. I am putting it at C tier, and I need to tell you why I'm putting it at C tier, okay? I'm not basing this off of all time. Okay, I'm doing it right now. What's the best gym in MMA? If I was a bidding MMA fighter and I wanted to be a world champion, what gym would I go to? And I just have to say that Nova União, although they did have Jose Aldo, and they did have Renan Barão before him, and they have made some legends, they don't seem to have anything coming up right now whatsoever. And that means they're in C tier. Maybe they were in A or B tier at one point in history, but I think they're fading. They're clinging on to their veterans. They aren't funneling through new talent up the rankings. I think I'm going to put them at C tier. Moving on to someone else who is Tristar. Okay, we're getting with the big dogs already. I'm putting Tristar at B tier. Okay, they've had their legends like Nova União has. They had GSP. They had Rory McDonald when he was in the UFC as well. Those are some big names. GSP especially, of course. That's the one everyone knows Tristar for training GSP. Everyone gives him credit for that. It's very justified as well. He's the greatest of all time in MMA, in my opinion, by far. Either way, I feel like they're above Nova União in the B tier area because they have these upcoming talents like Arnold Allen, John McDessie, Amian Zahabi, Kevin Lee was training over there, Johnny Walker was training over there for a bit. They've had guys coming up in their rankings at a very low level, so I like that. I think that's what the difference is between C tier and B tier. Great gym with legends, but also bringing through new talent in the B tier section here. So I'm going to put Tristar at B tier, and again, it's probably going to shock some people. There aren't many in A tier, I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a real top heavy, it's going to be a real bottom heavy tier list in my opinion. Moving on to someone else who is CKB. We're getting the big ones out of the way. I'm plucking these at random, by the way. We're getting the big ones out of the way early. CKB, in my opinion, belongs at A tier. Okay? I think it really does. I think it's one of those gyms that's just really good recently. They have a lot of good fighters. They have Israel Adesanya, a champion in the UFC. They have Alexander Volkanovski, a champion in the UFC. They have multiple champions in the UFC. That's a real good sign that you're a really amazing gym. And also, they're not the biggest of gyms anyway. It's not like a massive ATT type establishment where there's just compounds all over the place and they're just funneling through all of these talents day after day after day after day, and eventually they'll find a world champion. They've actually got a select few group of people. Kai Kara France, top contender in the flyweight division, looking good there, coming off a win as well. Dan Hooker on a little bit of a slide recently, but still a top 10 lightweight contender, and lightweight is one of the more difficult divisions in the UFC. I'd say CKB belongs to be at A tier. Two champions, you can't argue with it. A tier for CKB. As I said, there's only one gym that will take this S tier spot. Moving on, I believe this is Jackson Wink MMA. I'm putting Jackson Wink MMA at B tier as well. Again, GSP from Tristar, John Jones from Jackson Wink. What else you got for us, eh? What else is coming from Jackson Wink right now? I understand they have some guys. I really do. But Cameron Else isn't really doing it for me, in all honesty, in terms of a bidding contender to take a title in the UFC. Don't get me wrong. They do have some good contenders, and they do have some good fighters at a very low level. I'm just not seeing any future title contenders coming out of Jackson Wink, in all honesty, since John Jones. I know they have Holly Holm as well, But these fighters are from another era. I know Holly Holm's still at the top and John Jones is still at the top. I understand. I'm just not seeing that funneling of new talent. I'm really not seeing that new talent wave coming through. And I think they've lingered and sort of rested on the fact that we were the gym that trained John Jones. You can go Donald Cerrone. You can go Carlos Condit. You can go Diego Sanchez. And I feel like they've missed out, in all honesty. They haven't brought new talent through. I'm putting Jackson Wink at B tier. Great gym. I'm going to be critical of every gym here, kind of. Unless they're in A tier or S tier, I'm kind of going to be critical of them, but they're all good gyms. You know that. I just have to put them where they belong. Moving on. Team Cowboy. Fucking Cowboy, mate. I think we should put them at C tier as well. Although they do not have the legends that Nova União has in Jose Aldo and Renan Barão, they do have a bunch of talented fighters, and from the UK, they were one of the main funders of talent to the UFC. They had a bunch of guys. Terry Etim was in the UFC. If you don't know, he got wheel kicked by Barboza. I know that's not probably the legacy that he wants to have, but it's the legacy he's got, thanks to Barboza. Team Cowboy, Darren Till fighting out of there. You got Mike Grundy. You got Tom Aspinall as well, a heavyweight contender that could go on to become a top 5 guy easily, I would say. Maybe even a title holder himself in the UFC. They've got Darren Till in the mix at middleweight as well. Not going to put them up here, because they don't have that one big name that stands out as a champion or anything like that. But I think Team Cowboy actually does a decent job as a gym. I'm putting them at C tier. I think they're probably a bit lower than Nova União in terms of like training quality, because I seem to notice a common trend of like getting clipped on the chin quite a bit from Team Cowboy. They seem to have a bit of a kickboxing mindset where they aren't in 4-ounce gloves and can be a bit risky when you translate that to MMA. But even still, Team Cowboy, C tier. If Darren Till gets a belt or Aspinall gets a belt, I think we can move him up. But I'm leaving him at C tier for now. Moving on, Rufus Sport. Let's start speeding through some of these absolute dog shit gyms. Rufus Sport slipping, C tier. Honestly, they had their legends. They had Woodley. They had Pettis. Who they got now? Brendan Allen. Sergio Pettis, Bellator champ. Bellator. Sergio Pettis couldn't become a flyweight world champion in the UFC. Goes to Bellator, becomes the bantamweight world champion. That's just a clear sign how shit Bellator is compared to the UFC, regardless of what Josh Thompson and John McCarthy tried to convince you of. Rufus Sport, in my opinion, C tier. They just haven't adapted with the times, and I feel like they're kind of getting left behind in terms of these new generation of fighters. They're not adapting to the new guys. They aren't adapting whatsoever. I forgot Tiger Shulman. Whatever. Rufus Sport. Rufus Sport is in C tier. Moving on. Extreme Couture. I'm also putting them at C tier. Ooh, but do I put them above? I like Extreme Couture as a gym. They've got Ngannou in their gym. They've got some good fighters in their gym right now. But I just don't like the fact that people have jumped over to their gym from another gym. Like, Ngannou was trained up, of course, by the guy that trained him in France, who also trains Cyril Gane right now, and he dipped over to go to Couture, and they did develop him and make him into a better fighter, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I kind of want to put them in B tier now I'm mentioning this, because there are some really good fighters out of Extreme Couture. Brad Tavares trains out of that gym. He's a ranked contender in the middleweight division. They've got some other contenders as well. I feel like I'm going to put Extreme Couture at C tier for now. I feel like. Ngannou is Ngannou. Like, he's kind of gonna be the heavyweight champ, regardless of, like, how crisp his jab is. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting him at C tier. Moving on to another gym on the list, which is a gym by the name of SBG. Down you go to D tier. See you later. Other than McGregor, who doesn't even train there anymore, arguably. He's always in Dubai. And I don't know if there's an SGB Dubai around, so I doubt that. SBG... James Gallagher at Bellator. Who else do they have? I don't know. That's about it. I'm going to go with D tier for SBG. I'm sorry, McGregor fans that are in the mix of the MMA world, because he's fighting soon. The gym's pretty shit other than McGregor. McGregor's really good, but he's still currently ranked number 6 in the lightweight division, I believe. So I'm putting it at D tier, in all honesty. They don't have a depth of talent. They have one good guy. That's about all they got. Moving on to another gym, which is Alliance MMA. I'm putting it at C tier because they do have Dominic Cruz, and if you trained Dominic Cruz, you're a really good gym, and they've got Phil Davis, and they had Gustafsson. They did have some really good names, and Cruz is now clinging on for his career. Won a split decision against Casey Kenny, which should have been a clear decision, but either way, a close decision against Casey Kenny maybe isn't what he once was, but they still got some guys. I'm putting him at C tier. I don't see a funnel of new talent coming through, which is holding them back from that B tier level that Jackson, Wink, and Tristar maybe has in some small amounts. I'm putting them at C tier, in all honesty. C tier for Alliance MMA. They got Cruz. Other than that, who else they got? Lil Latifi sometimes trains there, I guess. Moving on to another gym that needs to be dissected. The MMA Lab. I'm going down here at D tier. But I do believe, and listen, this is no fault of their own, it's actually a really good gym and has potential to climb up this list. They just don't have that name that's really breaking through into the top 10, into the top 5, into getting a belt at some point. I know Benson Henderson, of course, coaches there, and he was a former world champion at lightweight. Great fighter, Benson Henderson, don't get me wrong. But right now, in terms of talent, they got Sean O'Malley, Casey Kenny, Kyler Phillips, I guess, is ranked in the bantamweight division. They just don't have that one standout name that really is carrying their gym right now, and there's been a recent champion in the past few years or anything like that, and they don't really have a future UFC champion other than maybe Sean O'Malley or Kyler Phillips, and bantamweight is a real tough division with Piotr Yan at the top of it, because Aljo ain't the fucking champ. MMA Lab goes to D tier, but they have room to improve. They're just a new... they just recently burst on the scene. I know they've been there for a while, but their talent has only just recently burst on the scene. I'm putting the MMA Lab at D tier. Moving on to something else, which is the New England Cartel from Boston. I'm putting the Boston New England Cartel in the B tier section. I rate the New England Cartel. Do you want to know why? Unlike every other one of these gyms, they're a really, really small gym. A really small gym. And they don't have a lot of fighters. So to have two guys... one at the top of the featherweight division, and one at the top 5 of the bantamweight division. I think Calvin Couture is ranked number 5 in the featherweight division as well. To have those guys with such a small gym, and not a lot of experience in the game of MMA, it was a boxing gym that translated over, and look how good their takedown defense is of Calvin Couture and Rob Font. I'd say put them at B tier. Great gym, consistency, not a lot of fighters, but the fighters they do have are really high-level fighters. So I'm going to give them a real good spot at B tier. New England Cartel, baby. Doing real good on the... I don't know why I said baby. It's the American coming out of me. I need to stop saying New England Cartel. New England Cartel, great gym. Good stuff. Moving on to another gym on the list, which is Sanford MMA. We're putting it at A tier. It's not getting the top spot of this list. I think people are deducing what is the top spot of this list. Sanford MMA, A tier. Equally as good as CKB in my opinion. Doesn't quite have the champions maybe, but then again it had Usman, of course, before Usman left. It has Luke Kay now. It has Gilbert Burns. It has other great fighters and has had great fighters throughout the years. Used to be Hard Knocks 365. Luke Rockhold was training there for a little bit as well. I like Sanford MMA. I think they make great fighters. They got Michael Chandler as well in that gym. It's a great gym. They've got a smattering of contenders in a bunch of different areas, and I think it's just a really good gym. Sanford MMA. Henry Hooft, great coach. Maybe I'll do a coach's tier list after this one. Let me know in the comments below, because that'll be a little bit more specific over who's the best coach. But Sanford MMA, great gym, great talent, spread out amongst a bunch of different divisions. I like Sanford MMA, and I'm putting them at A tier. Maybe CKB belongs a little bit poking out the top of A tier, and Sanford just in the middle, but still, they're both in the A tier section. Sanford's a great gym. Moving on to another gym on this list, which is AKA... we're putting them at B tier. They're slipping. And I know Khabib fans are hating me right now. They already did, because I speak the truth. But they are distraught by me doing this. I'm sure they are. AKAs fell off. Who do they have right now? No more Khabib. No more DC. No more Luke Rockhold. I guess kind of new Luke Rockhold, but he's not even ranked. Who they got? No more Cain Velasquez. Luis Pena, he's in prison. Like, their contender is in prison right now. Like, who else do they have? Deron Wynn? Makhachev. Oh my god, Makhachev. They have Makhachev. That's it. B tier. Like Tristar has Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen 8-0 in the featherweight division, looking just outside the top 5. Maybe I think Arnold Allen's number 7 right now in the featherweight division. Lightweight division is now Makhachev. I believe he's 8-1 or something like that in the lightweight division. He's got a really good record. I think putting around the equal area is really good. They just have lost a lot of their older talents and haven't really focused too much outside of Dagestanis on their new talent coming up. They've got Umar Nurmagomedov. They've got Islam Makhachev. The next best thing after that is Luis Pena, in my opinion, or Deron Win, and I don't see either of them doing anything special with their career, especially with Luis Pena behind bars. Even still, I'm putting AKA at B tier. If Makhachev goes on to win against a top 5 opponent and Umar gets ranked, maybe we're sliding them up a little bit, but even still, AKA at B tier for now until they get their new talent through up to the top of the divisions. Moving on to another gym, which is Longo Weidman MMA. I'm putting him at B tier as well. And again, people are going to disagree because, Longo Weidman, same as AKA. I'm being deadly serious. Longo Weidman, as much as you don't like the gym, maybe because Longo doesn't have much experience and Aljo's the guy there and no one likes Aljo right now because he's a bitch. But either way, they have Aljo. They have a champion. They had Weidman, dominant champion in the middleweight division. Now still a contender in the middleweight division. Who knows if he beat Uriah Hall, he'd be top 10 right now in the middleweight division. They've got some guys. They've got Merab Dvalishvili coming up in the bantamweight division. He seems reasonably unstoppable right now in that bantamweight division as well. So I feel like, although they don't have the bigger names that AKA once had, they're still around that same level. Maybe AKA is the best one out of these, but I think Longo Weidman belongs in that area. They've got good fighters coming out of the gym, and they had Ally Quinter, and they've had good guys throughout the years. I like Longo Weidman MMA. I think they're a great gym. They make good fighters, and they make champions. And it's not a big gym either. So I'm putting it at B tier. Moving on to another gym, which is Kings MMA. I'm putting them also at B tier here. Kings MMA is going at B tier. Great gym, well-rounded gym. I like all of their fighters. They always are well-rounded fighters. Marvin Vettori, well-rounded guy. Benil Dariush, well-rounded guy. They've got a bunch of guys. Rafael Dos Anjos does some training there at times as well. I like the gym. I really like Kings MMA. I think it's a great gym for talent. Bunch of guys there. Danilo Marquez just lost last weekend, but he trains there. Whenever you go to Kings MMA and you see a video of Kings MMA, there's always like a secret guy there. Like, oh my god, Gastelum trains here as well. Kelvin Gastelum trains there at Kings MMA. I like Kings MMA. They've been making good contenders for years. A lot of guys go there for good training sessions from other gyms, even if they're from better gyms. They'll go there for good training sessions just because the amount of people that are there. I like Kings MMA. Very well-rounded gym. A lot of really consistently good guys come out of Kings MMA. I'm putting them at B tier. Moving on to another gym, which is Glory Kickboxing and Fitness. I'm putting it at C tier. But am I, though? Don't know why I said dough like that, but am I really putting it? I might change some things around at the end, but I'm putting Glory at C tier. I just like James Krause's coaching. I like his style. He's got good guys coming up. Tim Elliott is now on a win streak right now in the flyweight division. Grant Dawson's on a massive win streak, I believe undefeated in the UFC. Now at lightweight, beat Leonardo Santos, and I know you think he's an old man, but he was like, what, 7-0, I believe, in the UFC. He beat Kevin Lee. He beat great opponents. I think Glory MMA and Fitness is kind of on the rise right now. They don't have that big name at the top. Maybe if Megan Anderson somehow beat Nunes, I'd put them up a little bit, but I think C tier is perfect for them. Great gym, great coaching. They're just still on the come up a little bit in their career. As soon as they get those guys over the hurdles of the rankings, then I'll start considering some other ranking spots for them. But Glory MMA and Fitness, they've just got a smattering of guys. Like, you'll always see James Krause in someone's corner every single fight night, it seems. So let's make that. And they have James Krause, which is another guy. So yeah, good stuff, Glory. Moving on to another gym, which is MMA Masters. Down here, they've got Covington. Covington was born and bred at ATT. Other than that, they got Miguel Beza, who's now coming off a loss. And they have Danny Chavez at featherweight, coming off a loss. I think the MMA Masters is a decent gym. I'm sure it's very good. Colby Covington has made it his home. Maybe it should be renamed Colby Covington Incorporated. I maybe have moved it up a little bit higher if it was. Even still, MMA Masters, great gym, but it's going at D tier. Moving on to another gym. Fight Ready MMA. I'm going to go with, again, D tier. Not really a lot of young talent coming through. Bruno Silva is a guy that trains there. Of course, Cejudo used to train there a little bit. That was a good gym. Paulo Costa's there, but he's on a little bit of a slide. I don't think he trains there anymore. I think he trains at an alternate location now. And Cejudo just dips in now and again. Fight Ready MMA had their moment with Cejudo, just like SBG had their double champ moment with McGregor. Just haven't been able to funnel through that new talent underneath it. And I think they belong at D tier for that very reason. Moving on. Team Alpha Male. Dumb shit gym, moving it down to D tier immediately. Team Alpha Male, all I heard from them was excuses throughout their career. If they lost, excuses. Excuses, excuses. It's like bred into their fighters, whether you like them or not. I don't like that attitude. I don't like the way the gym's looking recently. Garbrandt's left. Dillashaw's left. Who they got now? Cynthia Calvillo. Darren Elkins. Andre Philly. Good gym. Good gym, don't get me wrong. Just don't seem to be able to get their guys or females over that hurdle onto the next level. I think they've kind of slacked recently, and I honestly think Team Alpha Male is going to go out of existence soon. I think a lot of people are going to start looking for other training areas. Andre Philly's been training at different gyms recently as well. Of course, Garbrandt left after calling out Dillashaw for leaving, and what happens when they leave the gym. Garbrandt looks good against a Sansao when he leaves. Then you've got Dillashaw looking better than ever once he leaves the gym. Of course, maybe that's for a different reason. Squirt, squirt, needle, needle. Either way, Team Alpha Male. You know what I'm saying? Putting it a D tier. Moving on to another gym, which is American Top Team. I'm putting him at A tier. Great gym, great talent, great coach Matt Brown. Oh, Mike Brown. Always make that mistake. Mike Brown, great coach. Ioannian Jacek, former champion. Jorge Masvidal, BMF, kind of. Not really, because he just doesn't accept any fights. Jorge Masvidal they have coming out of there. They got Dustin Poirier out of there, just beat Conor McGregor. American Top Team's always had amazing fighters up and down the rosters of every single division. You'll see an ATT guy around all the time. I also believe Rufus, one of these gyms has, now I'm remembering it, I feel like, does Rufus Sport have Bilal Muhammad? That's in my mind right now. I don't believe it's true. It might be though. Moving on. Maybe Extreme Couture has Bilal Muhammad. Either way, I'm putting him at A tier, American Top Team, great gym, big old compound, and plus you got to consider they've got Douglas Lima in another compound. They've got like ATT Orlando, and they have a whole new list of fighters coming out of there. So there's just loads of different compounds, loads of different fighters, bunch of different organizations, putting him at A tier. Moving on to someone else on this list, which is the Training Lab. Go on, C tier. They had Dillashaw, they have Dillashaw now, they've got Matt Brown, they've got some other guys. But I'm going to just focus on putting the Training Lab at C tier. I don't see... I just genuinely don't really think they're that good of a gym anymore. Maybe if Dillashaw bounces back and beats Sandhagen, I'll give him a little bit more credit. But I think they're falling off as one of the top gyms in MMA right now. So we'll see how they do in the future. Moving on, another gym. My fucking icon. I guess we'll just fucking plonk that up there. Why the fuck is that in this video? Anyway, we'll leave that up there. What's this one? Oh, Tiger Muay Thai. Great gym. A tier for Tiger Muay Thai, and I think this has revealed the winner. Tiger Muay Thai, great gym. Valentina Shevchenko, Rafael Fiziev, Piotr Yan comes out of Tiger Muay Thai as well. Volkanovski started at Tiger Muay Thai. You've got Dan Hooker started at Tiger Muay Thai as well. Great gym, great talent. Everyone that goes there massively improves immediately in their stand-up. They've got to be doing something right. Maybe if it's just based on the stand-up, maybe they shouldn't be as high because they only really do great stand-up. But then again, their fighters seem to have amazing takedown defense as well. And just good styles in general. They're really technical. I think the more technical strikers in the sport come out of Tiger Muay Thai and CKB. And the last gym on my list today, other than this random one here, which is Ariel Hwani's. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, this is a shambles. Tiger Muay Thai. A tier. Great gym. Good stuff. Let's move on to the winner in S tier. Team Elevation. Round of applause. Round of applause for Team Elevation. They're killing the game right now. They've got Usman, they've got Namajunas, they've got Gaethje, they've got Dober, they've got Curtis Blades, they've got Corey Sandhagen, they've got Overeem, even. They've got so many others that I can't even name. There's so many of them coming out of Team Elevation. I think Trevor Whitman is running things right now in the MMA world. People go there, they get 10 times better. Look at Usman's stand-up. Training at Sanford MMA, goes over to Trevor Whitman's gym. Things get better for Usman. Usman goes from getting almost chinned by Maia in certain moments to flatlining Masvidal out cold. Okay? There's differences there. They've got to be taken into consideration. And I think going to that gym as a fighter is one of the best things you can do. Elevation Fight Team, really good gym right now. They're on top at the moment. Maybe they'll slip at some point, lose a champion and get replaced by CKB or American Top Team if they get a champ, or Tiger Muay Thai if they get another champ. Other than that, I'm putting him at S tier. Team Elevation wins. The best MMA gym in the game right now. I'm sure I've missed your favorite gym, and I am sorry. I know I've missed gyms. I missed Tiger Shulman. I missed Leon Edwards' gym. I can't even remember the fucking name of it. But either way, this is it. Team Elevation's the best gym in the game. Suck my fucking chode. See you later, guys. Toodle pip. Goodbye. Click that button up there for subscriptions as well. I make videos every day. And I might do a best coaches tier list maybe next. Or maybe the best... Tell me what tier list you want me to do in the comments. Goodbye.